60 people evacuated, 2 counties under flood warning. And it's only getting started. After 4 p.m., another round of thunderstorms fires up with heavy rainfall possible in some spots. Let's zoom out and look at the full week ahead because things don't calm down after today. Friday, May 29th brings that hail threat to West Texas and the Panhandle as that surface trough develops. Saturday and Sunday continue the unsettled pattern as multiple shortwave energy pockets keep firing. WPC is calling for a continued wet pattern across the south all the way into early next week. A front will drag south through the region, but it'll stay stalled, keeping rain chances elevated. By the time we hit Memorial Day weekend, scattered rain chances remain in the forecast for most areas. If you're planning outdoor Memorial Day activities, have a backup plan ready just in case. For the Gulf Coast specifically, heavy rain chances persist through Friday before slowly tapering off. The slight risk for excessive rainfall extends not just through today, but into parts of Thursday too. That means 2 straight days of elevated flood risk for Houston, Beaumont, and the surrounding coast. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour shift eastward this afternoon, funneling Gulf moisture inland all day. 2 days of storms, saturated ground. Houston and Beaumont viewers, drop your city in the comments. And here's something that really puts this pattern in perspective for the entire state of Texas. Precipitable water is running 2 to 2.5 standard deviations above the long-term seasonal mean. Simply put, the atmosphere holds way more water than normal. So what city are you watching from? Every storm firing up in this environment can produce rainfall exceeding 1 inch per hour. Combine that with slow storm movement, and you've got a recipe for life-threatening flash flooding. This is not a regular spring shower situation. This is a serious multi-day flooding event for Texas. Let's talk about what happened overnight in Austin, because it really shows how fast things can escalate. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued for southern Fayette County just before midnight last night. Wind gusts with that storm were capable of causing property damage across the warned area. Harris County and surrounding areas keep that weather app open and stay on alert today. A flash flood warning in East Burnett County and northwestern Williamson County was extended to 1:30 a.m. Overnight warning extensions like that mean storms were dumping heavy rain well past midnight. SPC issued Level 1 marginal for all central Texas, bumping to Level 2 slight for western areas. Risk levels dropped on the charts, but rain and flooding had already done serious work on the ground. Weather threats can drop on the forecast charts while still causing real serious damage on the ground. Always follow the actual conditions outside your window, not just the headline risk level. Now back to what's happening in real time right now across North and Central Texas today. The NWS Fort Worth office updated their forecast as of Wednesday, May 27th at 12:40 p.m. Central Daylight Time. They confirmed an unsettled weather pattern across North and Central Texas through the beginning of next week. Daily rain chances exist through the period, but not every location will see rain on every single day. Now let's talk Dallas-Fort Worth. The NWS Fort Worth office issued a heads up late yesterday. The flood threat is highest where storms train, meaning multiple storms move over the same location. That training effect dropped 2 to 3 inches in Hamilton County near Hyco within just a few hours. The NWS issued a flash flood warning for Hamilton County through 11:30 p.m. that evening as a result. Flash flooding in Hamilton County that's rural terrain where escape routes can be limited fast. If you're in a rural Texas county today, make sure neighbors and family know the flood warning signs. Comment your county below. We're tracking every active warning across the state right now. Let's also give a shout out to the Woodlands, Conroe, and Humble up north of Houston today. These communities sit right in the path of heavy rain and flood threat tracking up from the coast. The Woodlands area saw 79 degrees on the 28th forecast, with storm chances building into the afternoon. Conroe and Humble are also sitting at 79 degrees with that same elevated flood risk building in. Isolated showers and storms will be possible across north and central Texas through tonight. Sugarland, Pearland, and Stafford round out the South Houston suburbs, all watching that 4 p.m. storm window. If you're anywhere in the greater Houston metro, give yourself extra commute time this afternoon. Highways in the Houston area are notorious for flooding under underpasses and low-lying sections. A flooded underpass can fill up in minutes and trap vehicles before drivers even realize the danger. So here's your 3 takeaways from today's Texas weather situation real talk. No fluff. Number 1, Southeast Texas and the Gulf Coast are the highest flood risk zones through Friday. Number 2, North and Central Texas face scattered storm threats with localized flooding possible. Number 3, West Texas and the Panhandle need to watch for large hail developing by Friday. 3 different threats, 3 different parts of Texas this state is getting hit from multiple angles. Umbrella, rain boots, hail cover. Texas needs all of it right now, not just one thing. Severe threat is very low, but a few strong afternoon and evening storms aren't ruled out. KXAN confirmed June is Texas's 3rd warmest and wettest month. Average highs hit 95 degrees Fahrenheit. June brings its own set of severe weather threats just as tornado season begins to slowly wind down. NOAA's above normal temperature outlook means heat index values could push past 105 degrees Fahrenheit by early June. Wet, saturated ground plus 95-degree heat equals brutal humidity. That's Texas June in a nutshell. Want us to cover your city in our next update? Drop the name in the comments now. We're talking Plano, McKinney, Galveston, Laredo, Lubbock, Round Rock. Your city deserves coverage. Every comment helps us figure out which of Texas's 254 counties needs the most coverage tonight. Before we wrap, here's a quick reality check on the flood numbers that matter most today. Flooding is the #1 weather-related killer in Texas, more than tornadoes, lightning, or heat. And yet most flood fatalities happen in vehicles on roads that looked passable just minutes before. Those stronger storms can still pack gusty winds, small hail, and plenty of lightning. 2 feet of moving water can sweep away a full-size pickup truck on a flooded Texas road. With 60 people already evacuated from central Texas overnight, this storm cycle is very much real. 3 inches of rain in Hamilton County, flood warnings in Williamson County. Boat teams on standby. This is not a drill. Texas is in an active, ongoing, multi-day flooding event right now today. So if you're in Texas tonight, have your emergency kit ready. Know your evacuation route. Stay informed. Weather situations like this can change within an hour, so keep checking back for updates. Watching from Houston, Dallas, Austin, or San Antonio, let us know in the comments right now. Just drop your city below and we will make sure your area gets covered in tonight's weather update. Texas weather is never boring, and May 28th, 2026 is proving that point in a big way today. Stay safe, stay dry, and keep those eyes on the sky. More updates coming your way tonight. Flash flooding is also possible where storms slow down or train over the same area repeatedly. Now let's zero in on the active NWS warnings officially in effect across Texas today. This isn't forecast talk anymore. These are issued warnings affecting real people right now. A flood warning is active for the South Fork of the San Gabriel River in Williamson County. NWS says the San Gabriel River was forecast to crest at 10.9 feet Wednesday morning after storms. At that crest level, mandatory evacuations hit Shady River and Goodwater RV parks in Georgetown. Georgetown officials confirmed 44 road closures across Leander, Round Rock, Cedar Park, and Granger. 44 road closures, that's not weather anymore. That's a full-on community emergency response. If you're in Georgetown, Leander, or Jarrell, check atxfloods.com before driving anywhere today. Moving wider, a flood watch covers a massive 25-county zone across south-central Texas today. Counties covered stretch from Travis and Williamson all the way down to Bear, Kerr, and Medina. Tarrant and Dallas counties are already on edge after flash flood warnings earlier this week. Rainfall rates in this watch zone could quickly trigger flooding, isolated 6-inch totals possible. 6 inches on already saturated soil means rivers rise fast and roads start closing within minutes. Drop your county in the comments. Are you inside the flood watch zone or seeing active flooding? Here's where it gets personal for the hill country. Kerr County sits inside that watch zone today. Less than a year ago, the Guadalupe River rose over 20 feet in just 90 minutes overnight. July 4th, 2025, that flash flood killed more than 130 people, including nearly 30 children. Every single storm in the hill country carries so much more emotional weight, because of that night. Texas just installed its first outdoor flood warning sirens along the Guadalupe River in Kerr County. Those sirens entered their final testing phase just 2 weeks ago. They are brand new right now. Upper Guadalupe River Authority confirms the sirens auto-activate via official NWS flood warnings. Drop your city in the comments right now. We'll update your area with the latest conditions tonight. A new $4 million monitoring network aims to give hill country communities 1 to 3 hours advance notice. New sirens and sensors don't protect you if you don't take the warnings seriously when they sound. If you're camping near any hill country river this weekend, have a safety plan ready. Drop your city below, especially Kerrville, Hunt, Ingram, or anywhere near the Guadalupe River. Back in Williamson County, Brushy Creek spilled over roadways reaching 1 to 2 feet on flood gauges. Emergency crews went door to door along Highway 29, warning residents about rapidly rising water. In Leander, Cedar Park, Florence, and Gerald, multiple road closures are being reported today. 4.35 inches fell in Berry Creek alone, most of it hitting between 6 and 9 a.m. Tuesday. San Gabriel River jumped from 7 to 13.7 feet in one afternoon. Nearly 7 feet of rise. Down in southeast Texas, the flood threat isn't just stormwater. It's rising river flooding, too. Over 2 to 3 inches of rain dropped in Hamilton County within just a few hours. Moving south to Austin, the storm complex that rolled through last night has finally cleared out. NWS Houston confirmed 1 to 3 inch averages today, with isolated totals potentially reaching 5 inches. Prime soils across Harris, Chambers, Brazoria, and Galveston counties mean runoff happens instantly. Harris County Flood Warning System is actively monitoring bayous and creeks across the metro. Any bayou already running high from Tuesday's storms is going to spike fast with today's new rain. If you're near Buffalo Bayou, Brays Bayou, or Greens Bayou, bookmark harriscountyfws.org now. Houston viewers, tell us in the comments what's happening on your street right now today. Let's check Deep South Texas. The NWS Brownsville office is watching this pattern closely. The May through July outlook calls for hotter than normal temps with occasional heavy rain and flooding. Drought risk and flash flooding coexisting in the same county at the same time. That's Texas 2026. Here's the full warning picture for May 28th. Let's break it all down one final time. All warnings that were in effect have ended as of this morning, per the KXAN weather team. Flood warning active South Fork San Gabriel River. Williamson County ongoing right now. Flood watch active 25 counties from Travis south through Kerr, Bear, Medina, and Hill Country. Slight risk, excessive rainfall, southeast Texas and Gulf Coast holding through Friday. River flood monitoring, Harris County bayous, East Texas rivers. Guadalupe River in Kerr County. Severe storm risk, West Texas Panhandle and South Plains for large hail developing by Friday. That is 5 separate threat categories running at the same time across one single state today. 5 threat categories. 220 blocks of coverage. Texas weather doesn't do anything small today. Stay weather aware. 44 road closures in Williamson County alone shows how fast things escalate. Drop your city one more time in the comments, Houston, Austin, Georgetown, Kerrville, or Waco. Every comment helps us track where viewers are and what coverage you need most tonight. Here's the catch. At least 60 people evacuated from 2 RV parks in Williamson County. Texas weather is relentless. 60 evacuated, 44 roads closed, 5-inch rainfall possible today. More updates tonight. Stay locked in, stay dry, and keep eyes on the Texas sky. County Emergency Management had boat rescue teams on standby throughout the overnight hours. A flood warning remains active along the South Fork of the San Gabriel River in Williamson County. LCRA confirmed floodgate operations at Stark Dam wrapped up before 8 a.m. this morning. Austin is getting a brief break today, but the pattern isn't done with Central Texas just yet. San Antonio is in a similar spot as a storm complex moved through the far south this morning. After that clears, expect mainly dry conditions with partly sunny skies and a light southeasterly wind. Temperatures in San Antonio will hit the low 80s under a mix of clouds and afternoon sunshine. And right now, 5 inches of rain in under 24 hours is already possible along the Gulf Coast. Don't get too comfortable, though. This lull is temporary, and more rain chances return by the weekend. What city are you watching the skies from today? Drop it in the comments below right now. Now, here's the bigger picture that explains why all of this keeps happening across Texas. The NWS Weather Prediction Center described it as a very warm, humid, and unstable air mass. It's been parked over the southern U.S. for several days in a row, and it's not moving. Precipitable water levels are running 2 to 2.5 standard deviations above the seasonal mean right now. Bottom line, the atmosphere is loaded with moisture, way more than normal for late May. When storms fire up in this environment, they can dump rainfall at rates exceeding 1 inch per hour. And that's exactly the setup that's been triggering flash flood emergencies across the region all week. Meteorologists are also flagging an omega block pattern developing across the continental U.S. Today is May 28th, and Texas is deep in one of its most unsettled stretches of spring weather. An omega block basically locks weather systems in place, so the same areas keep getting hammered. That's why Texas has seen rain day after day with no real break through the coming week. Let's check in on Corpus Christi down on the coast. Gulf moisture is your biggest story today. Southeast winds are feeding warm, humid air directly onshore throughout the day today. Isolated storm development is possible this afternoon, especially if sea breeze boundaries collide. Temps holding the upper 70s to near 80, right on track for late May down here. The bigger concern for Corpus is the cumulative rain totals building up over multiple storm days. Coastal areas are especially vulnerable when storm after storm keeps piling on the rainfall totals. Corpus Christi viewers, drop your city in the comments and tell us what you're seeing today. Over in El Paso out west, you're actually sitting in a much drier and quieter weather pattern today. WPC has flagged Southeast Texas under an official slight risk for excessive rainfall today. Gulf air hasn't reached that far west Permian Basin, viewers. Drop your city in the comments. But here's what's coming for El Paso. A surface trough over eastern New Mexico is developing. By Friday, May 29th, scattered afternoon storms could push from New Mexico into far west Texas. SPC flagged a large hail potential stretching from eastern New Mexico into west Texas Friday. Up to 30 knots of deep layer wind shear could support a few slow-moving severe cells on Friday. So El Paso and the surrounding Panhandle region heads up. Severe weather risk rises tomorrow. Let's head up to Amarillo in the Texas Panhandle. You're in a transition zone right now today. Drier air from the west is mixing with Gulf moisture, creating an unstable but scattered storm setup. By Friday evening, those severe storms from West Texas could be pushing right into your backyard. Large hail is going to be the primary threat for the Panhandle heading into Friday and Saturday. Don't let slight risk fool you. After days of rain, the ground just can't hold more water. If you're in Lubbock, Amarillo, or anywhere on the South Plains, check your hail insurance today. Seriously though, large hail can do serious damage to vehicles and roofs in just a few minutes. Comment below and tell us, are you already seeing hail, heavy rain, or flooding in your area? Back east, the Beaumont and Port Arthur area is absolutely worth watching closely right now. Southeast Texas sits right at the bullseye of that slight risk zone for excessive rainfall today. Repeated thunderstorms are forecast to move through the area, bringing potentially heavy totals. Here, it's not one big storm, it's multiple rounds of storms stacking up over hours. When 3 to 5 inches of rain falls over 24 hours, roads flood fast and stay flooded. Turn around, don't drown absolutely applies here. Never drive through flooded roadways today. It only takes 12 inches of moving water to carry away most standard passenger vehicles on the road. Flash flooding becomes dangerous fast when the soil is already saturated to its absolute limit. That's a stat that doesn't get talked about enough. 12 inches is barely ankle deep on an adult. Now let's talk about what's going on with the Tyler and East Texas region this afternoon. East Texas sits in a particularly vulnerable spot where Gulf moisture funnels inland most effectively. East Texas scattered storms likely today, so drop your city in comments if you're tracking flooding. River levels across East Texas have already been rising due to all the upstream rainfall this week. Minor river flooding is being monitored across multiple river gauges in the East Texas area today. Living near a creek, bayou, or river in East Texas, Know your evacuation route right now. Waco sits in the middle of the state and is also dealing with that unsettled central Texas pattern. Afternoon heating will combine with available moisture to fire up storms across the Waco metro. NWS Fort Worth confirms the flooding threat is highest where storms slow down or stall out. Let's break it down city by city so you know exactly what's heading your way today. Waco saw significant flooding events earlier in May, so the soil is already primed to run off quickly. Let's head back to Houston because that 4 p.m. storm timing is really critical for today. NWS Houston forecast calls for a high near 81 degrees with a 90% chance of rain today. That overnight low will drop to around 72 degrees, staying warm and muggy through the night. Barometric pressure sits at 29.95 inches of mercury at Houston Hobby, with east winds already at 14 miles per hour. Humidity in the Houston metro is running at 69%, that thick, sticky Gulf Coast air. Humidity this high makes the heat feel several degrees worse than what the thermometer reads. Real talk if you're working outside in Houston today. Stay hydrated and take breaks in the shade. Now let's check on the DFW numbers. Specifically, Dallas is running warmer than Houston today. Dallas highs reach the mid to upper 80s before afternoon storms fire up across the metro. Starting in Houston, NWS puts today's high near 81 degrees with showers rolling in before 4 p.m. Overnight lows settle into the upper 60s tonight with southeast winds holding at 6 to 8 miles per hour. Humidity in DFW hovers around 60 to 65%. Drier than Houston, but still plenty muggy today. Austin is expected to stay in the low 80s today after that storm complex moved through this morning. San Antonio will also see upper 70s to near 80 under partly cloudy skies most of the afternoon. These temperatures are running slightly above the seasonal average for late May across the board. NOAA's spring outlook is calling for above normal temperatures and persistent drought conditions ahead. That's a wild combination, flooding rain right now, with drought conditions potentially coming later. Texas weather never does anything halfway. It's either feast or famine when it comes to rainfall. Which city are you in right now? Hit the comments and let us know what you're seeing. We want to hear from Fort Worth, San Marcos, Killeen, Midland, Odessa. All of you, sound off.